Hi, I'm Phanith. I am the environmental economist. My passion is to bring nature to the city, make our city green, and bring the well-being for all the urban residents. Today I'm with Anton for the Green League.
Well, let's go.
So 4 times.
I don't really believe in worldwide NGOs. I believe that the solution comes from local initiative. I believe in general solution implemented locally.
iPad right now, when you spot from the satellite, it's almost gray. Very few locations have the green space.
After import the solar, my mission was to open a solar factory in Cambodia.
I'm here to talk to Antoine and the Green League, how we transform food systems for farmers and nature.
Going towards regenerative agriculture is a big disruption. It will never come from within the industry. It always comes from outsiders, from startups, scale-ups that have this innovative idea, but also have the capacity to act innovative.
Cambodia could save 20% on their electricity bill as a country by just from tomorrow saying, for the next 10 years, we just have efficient ACs.
First of all, thank you for having me here today. So my name is Phanith. I am the environmental economist. I work at the Royal University of Phnom Penh right now. My background is the international economics, but specialized on environmental economics that I graduated my PhD in Japan. And since then, I still working around this topic, nature-based solution, forest ecosystem service. So I'm doing a lot of research at my university and also do a lot of consulting with some development partners. Thank you.
Yeah. I saw, actually, I jumped into your profile because I saw the case study that you released on LinkedIn.
Yes.
You don't have a lot of professional like you engage or consultant economists sharing like this their insight and case study. You had nice post, and that's how I got like, okay, Phanith, I need to have you here today.
Yes.
So this is what we are talking about.
Okay.
You mentioned NBS, nature-based solution. What it is quickly, and what are we tackling in terms of problem, especially in the city?
Yes, of course. I think you and everyone else are aware of the problem on our urban right now, not only in Phnom Penh, but other city of Phnom Penh, other city of Cambodia, and other city around the lower Mekong countries. We face the same problems. That is the urban heat, urban flooding, and we lack of the recreation site for the urban residents people. So this is the main problem right now that the urban residents are facing, and we try to address those problems. So there's a lot of solutions that the government, the operator, the architect, they try to put on. And one among the solutions we call NBS. Because nature-based solution, it means that we try to use the natural process that we learn from the nature and ecological function, put as the hybrid with the infrastructure, and we address the climate problems. Especially, we address with the urban heat, we address with the urban flooding. So that is the main role, that very simple role, but it's contain a kind of the complex design, but their main fundamental objective, that is the main idea from NBS.
Bring nature in the city.
Yes.
Mitigation of big climate risk.
Yes, mostly on the climate risk related, mostly urban heats and flooding.
But you said the third thing is also kind of landscape for people living in the city.
Of course.
It's more kind of on top of that. It's less risk, it's less danger, direct danger, but it's for well-being of people.
Exactly. If you can spot that when the climate change strikes, the most impact is the human health. So it affects to the productivity of the people. We have worked here so hard, we work in the office space, work here we live in the apartment, we lack of a kind of the common or community location or the green location that the people enjoy, go there, feel present and connect with other neighborhood. We lack of this kind of space. Almost many cities in South Asian. So that is the third point of the NBS as well, that they can bring the location that bring people that live harmonized with the nature and they feel enhance their well-being and upgrade their quality of life in the city.
The thing about COVID, it's like the climate COVID.
Maybe,
we were all isolated and a lot of depression.
Yes.
Because we don't have the space to
Yes.
connect to ourselves or the nature.
Exactly. You see, right now, if you back to last 20 or 30 years, reminding my childhood in Phnom Penh, I was born in Phnom Penh. We have a very strong bonding community because we have a kind of the park garden that the people come, play, talking, communication. But right now, everyone just live, separately, far distant. Even we are living in the closed door, but sometimes we don't talk. So NBS, even their main role is to address the urban heats and urban flooding, but they provide a kind of opportunity that bring people come to that place, enjoy, and refreshing.
Awesome.
Every day, we need that every day, not every weekend or not every vacation that we take. We need every day to refreshing.
Yoga or
yeah, we need place like that.
To have this
Yeah.
incorporated in the city design.
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. But now, if we look more into the problem, you mentioned especially flooding and heat stress.
Yep.
In terms of problem in the cities,
Yep.
what does it mean? Like heat stress, we know climate is
Of course.
warming step by step, flood and this kind of stuff will happen more and more. But do you have numbers around this, like in cities, what heat stress is in Southeast Asia or flooding means?
I think we can spot. Obviously, last couple of months, what happened to Phnom Penh, the air quality is not really that good, but also not really much worse comparing to other. But the heat that we expose from the solar radiation and also the heat that bring back from the surface, we feel really uncomfort to live in the city. So the temperature in the city right now are rising up, so make people feel really uncomfort to travel. So this is really bad for the human health, especially for the elderly and the young. So they will lack of kind of lower their work productivity and they will sick. So this is the temperature increase in the city is really obvious. And the flooding, you can spot, even we have very good infrastructure right now, we have a good drainage system, we have a kind of the good stormwater management, but if the heavy rain comes just around 20-35 minutes, we have got flooding. So this problem right now happen more frequent and more intense from year to year. So that is the main problem right now that we are facing.
Okay, so what are the top NBS nature-based solutions that you've been discovering this last year in the region? Yeah,
I think I can give you a very concrete example. Like in Vietnam, there's a study they found that in the central of Hanoi, there is conversion of the green space and vegetation, 1.6 hectare, something like that, into the building. And when they convert from that green space to the building, the temperature in that area rise up around 3 degrees Celsius. So you can imagine what happened to our human health that we need to expose with the temperature increased by 3 degrees Celsius. That is really not really good at all. That's the reason that government of Hanoi in Vietnam, they start their campaign on the 1 million tree plantation. So they're very successful. They start to plant just only 1 million tree, but they end up by 1.6 million tree. Because the target just only one, but they can deliver by 1.6 million because they understand the green space, the importance of the green space. So if the coverage of the green space between 20 to 50%, there's a study, the evidence from the academic study, we can reduce the temperature around 1 to 3 degrees Celsius. So this is confirmed by by the temperature detection. So this is very significant in terms of reducing the temperature.
And how long did they spend to plant 1 million?
I think they take just only 3 to 5 years only. Okay. Yeah, and they start by their own budgets, their own program, and the youth that participate in that program very active. So every resident and also the government and many stakeholders come, join and plant the tree in Hanoi. If you,
You mean the citizens were active, different kind of stakeholders?
they are very active right now.
Everyone was involved.
Everyone was
But
involved.
where did it start? Like it was
They just started recently. Yeah.
I mean the initiative. Where did it come from? From the citizen, from the government. Who led this initiative initially?
I'm not sure, but this is something that the government realized by themselves. But there is the discussion between the academics, development partners, the studies, and the dialogues that during that time that happened between the government and all the stakeholders. So they start to run this campaign, and this is very successful. I give you another example in Khun Chan in China. Khun Chan is the city of China. They face very similar problem in Hanoi: urban heats, urban problems, pollution. So they use the nature-based solution, but for China they call the concept of the sponge city. So they build along the main road, they build the swell that can release the water from the overpass the road, drop into the swell, so they can really harvesting those rainwater for other purpose. They construct the wetland, so the wetland, the wetland.
Wetland.
So the wetland play the function role as the water treatment. So instead of build the big factory or water treatment plants, they construct the wetland. So they construct the wetland, they can reduce the pollution. Okay, and that also can really absorb the amount million cubic meters of the rainfall in the city, flow into that wetland, so they can really mitigate the flood effectively.
What kind of stuff do you have in the wetland? It's like lake, trees. It's like a river. You have biodiversity.
That's the combination, because of wetland they construct the lake, but the lake is not really deep, because they have the tree, they have the vegetation, and they connect it to the rivers. So before connect to the river, instead of send the direct water flow directly to the rivers through the sewage, they construct the wetland. And that wetland, they start to filtering of the water before release it to the, naturally released to the river. So this is the function that nature have them.
This water is like mainly when you have a big rain coming and it goes through this wetland.
Yes.
It's not the wastewater from the urban living.
Two sides, because they have the park, they have the wetland. So some park they have the function of water treatment, and some wetland this is the function of absorb the water. So they connect to each other. So they have two functions. One, they can really absorb the water from the city. Another function, they can filtering the water, the pollution.
How big is that?
I don't know how size of the hectare, but everywhere in Khun Chan right now you can have three colors, because this is the principle of sponge city. One is blue. It means that everywhere in the city must have the lake, wetland around the campus, around the neighborhood, and the large wetland in the suburbs. They have the green. It means everywhere must have the green coverage. It means tree coverage on the building, the compounds, and also the gray. They don't abandon the building. So it means that they come up with the three color principle to make their city are resilient to climate: gray, green, and blue. Yeah. Okay. So this is very successful, and because of that showcase, government of China adopt that system and apply it to other. To many other, and right now I think it's up to 100 cities already.
100 cities.
100 cities. I don't come up with a clear figure, but at least 100 cities that adopt that from Khun Chan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have a last example in the region?
Maybe the neighborhood of Cambodia in Thailand. You know, it's very, very, very interesting. In Thailand, in the center of Bangkok, they convert one big tobacco factory into the forest park. You know that name? They call it Bangkok Forest Park. Very large and absolutely in the center of Bangkok. Because they are aware that, you know, the city, the people living in Bangkok, they are very stressful, the traffic congested, the air quality and also the urban flooding happen very frequently. So they are aware of this problem. So they start to convert that factory into the very big, beautiful forest park, because it is the space that all the residents of Bangkok can go there, enjoy jogging in the morning. And when they do that, they play. That park is not just only the location that people are refreshing, but that park also function, again, similar to Khun Chan. They absorb the water, so they can mitigate some flooding. They can reduce the heat, urban heat in surrounding area, and they can bring back the biodiversity to that park. So it's like the harmonizing people and nature and biodiversity come together just in the center of Bangkok. So that's very, very beautiful project.
Initially, when you talk about NBS, you didn't mention the biodiversity component. You say it's to fight heat stress, flood, and human health because of pollution and heat stress and stuff. But the biodiversity component also is
naturally come by themselves. Yeah, they don't get away from us. Whenever we restore the habitat for them, they will come back to us. So this is the indirect benefit that we don't expect, but of course they become naturally
create that space.
Yes, and then they start to interact with those kind of the nature and with us.
Like what?
Oh, when you go to the park, you hear the birds singing, and the bird with the small insect, they come up with the food chains. So they come up with the number of community themselves or biodiversity living in the nature. So we bring life. So it's when we bring a kind of the vibrant park that we can really enjoy, and their life, their well-being also restored along to our well-being. Yep. So that's good.
Awesome.
We don't allow to catch for our food, no, but it's really not the case. But when we see the biodiversity living together with us, we also feel happy. Yeah.
And all these projects are amazing, but they cost a lot. So and you mentioned about the putting together gray with blue and green.
Yeah.
It's about hybrid. What you call a hybrid?
I call it hybrid between gray infrastructure and nature-based solution.
So
we cannot just do everything naturally, because
just only nature, only gray for you.
Yeah, it's better to.
It's not long term.
Yeah.
But so, what are the challenge of? Why don't we have more hybrid NBS and gray infrastructure already? What are the blocking points? What are the main challenges? And what are the costs?
The gray infrastructure is always fast. The procurement is not really complicated, because everyone understands the function of the gray infrastructure. Example, you want to reduce the flood that surpass the road, so you build a bigger drainage system. So their function is very clear, and the procurement is also very easy to procure it. So you just calculate the cost, and then you construct it. You got benefit immediately. So that's why the people still prefer the gray infrastructure, but their value is, depreciate year by year. It's not increase the value at all. So we need to upgrade our infrastructure from time to time. So the government expenditure need to spend more and more every year to upgrade that. That's the reason we think another way. So how about we use the concept of nature-based solution to do hybrid with the gray infrastructure, and then we can really bring more multiple benefits, just not only single benefit, but the multiple benefits, and we can enjoy the benefit in longer terms. But this kind of the campaign and the idea is very new, not only for Cambodia, but also new for the region. I'm sure they heard about the nature-based solution, but I don't think they really understand the function of the nature-based solution and the real benefit of the nature-based solution and the design of the nature-based solution. So they are not so clear about those. So they feel hesitate. So when they feel hesitate, they better stick with their business as usual rather than take risk for another solution to take NBS. So that's why
what do you do to help them to transition? You show them the return on investment, and so what it is?
Yeah, there's a lot of concern that if we invest in the nature-based solution, the investment may be higher.
It is, right?
Sometimes higher, sometimes lower.
Okay.
For sure, because example, if you build a revertement to stabilize the riverbank and you use all concrete, 1 square meter sometimes it costs around $40 per square meter. But if you do the same using the bioengineering to stabilize by using the vegetation, it costs just only $6. So you see, we reduce almost 5 to 6 times of the cost. But it's not always the case.
Yeah,
I agree. That depends on solution, depending on their function. So some cases, the cost we need to add up on the original cost from 5 to 13% of the total cost if we would like to put green the nature-based solution along with the grave infrastructure. But some cases, the costs are lower. So there's not really a kind of the consistency agreement whether it's higher or lower. That's why they feel concerned. So my team tried to do a lot of assessment. We try to bring the economic assessment. So when we conduct the economic assessment, we hope that we can bring more evidence to the policymaker, to the operator, to the investor. They can see if they would like to go with that solution. What actually their long-term benefits.
So what it is, can you give me like 2 cases where we know the return on investment for $1 investment?
Yeah, maybe I can just some case study that we conduct together with the Monash University in Australia that collaborating with ISM under Lucas program. We conduct 8 case study in 4 countries in the region, in Cambodia, in Laos, in Vietnam, and in Thailand. But let me give you some example in 2 case studies in Cambodia. So we conduct 2 case studies, one in the one road in Battambang city, and another in the school just in front of Royal Palace in Ariksat area. So you know, we discussed with the governor, with the smart city team and Battambang, because in that road, it's very beautiful road. Because along that road, there is a colonial building under the French colony at that time, very beautiful. This attract a lot of tourists. But right now that road is very dusty, very hot, and sometimes it's also flooding from Songkla River and also flooding from the rain. So we discussed with the expert on the engineer, the expert from the ecologists and the smart city team in Battambang. We would like to proposing the NBS for that road because we cannot do for the whole city. Yeah. We would like to start one small, but to bring the kind of the showcase, the clear evidence. So hopefully we can use that evidence to advocate in the bigger scale. So we select that road. We try to use the system that, okay, now this is a 2-way road. It's traffic congested every day and very hot. So we try to convert that road 2-way into only single way. And then along that road, we restore the green space, maybe 15 to 20%. Yeah, from our report, you can go it, 15 to 20% along the road. And along that road, we install a kind of what we call a retention pond. So a small retention pond along the road. And then we come up with the estimation for 20 years when we plan that or restore the green space. We can see the benefit, we can expect the benefit. The temperature will be reduced at least by 1 to 3 degrees Celsius by the default value. And we can attract more tourists and we can really avoid the flooding. So from that study, the investment cost is just less than $1 million, but the return is more than $1 million over the period of 20 years. And the benefit cost ratio is around 2.7, something like that. Around that 2.7. Plus 7. It means that the government, if we invest $1, we will return at least $2.7 back.
But how long period?
We estimate by 20 years.
So,
yeah.
But what does it mean, like plus 2.5 return on investment with this ratio? If it's spread over 20?
Yeah, you invest $1, you will return back $2.
Yeah, but after 20 years.
During the 20 years. Yeah.
Okay.
So this is example, you want to invest $1 million for that, you will return $2 million, but over the period in 20 years.
So that's a long term.
It's a long term. That is the reason that some people we cannot wait for the long term. But if we put ourselves in the long run investment, and we would like to see the benefit distribute in the long run for our generation, for the next generation, we should go with the nature-based solution. Yeah.
This is an economic argument to discuss with them. It's your main kind of ratio to discuss with them.
Yes, yes.
Can you reach better than this in other cases? To me, you can reach higher, I don't know. Of
course. Another case study that we conduct together with GIZ, Mekong River Commission that we collaborating, and ISM again. Many stakeholders come and join us to conduct the study in Poi Pai. Poi Pai is the city that share border with Thailand. So we conduct the whole Poi Pai city case study, so in the larger scale. So in the larger scale, we also cannot do much because Poi Pai right now, when you spot from the satellite, it's almost gray. Very few locations have the green space. So the sooner you enter Poi Pai, you feel very hot. So that's why we come up, how can we do for Poi Pai? Because we lack of land. So the design of the NBS will be so difficult. We cannot purchase the land and build the park. That is really a kind of the impossible scenario unless you have $1 million, $1 billion to do that. But we come up with we have some land, public land along the road. We have public land in the school and also in the pagoda. So we utilize all the public land and we restore them as the green space by increase the green space by 15%, 1.5. Okay. And then we restore the riverbank because Cambodia and Thailand, we have the border and that small river is the borderline. So we would like to work in the close tense boundary between Cambodia and Thailand to restore that small river by do the bioengineer riverbank stabilization, planting the tree, restore everything into the green, because in that we can really absorb the water, urban flooding from Poi Pai into that river and send that water go to downstream. So we can solve two problems. One, we use the heat, and second, we can really avoid the flood for Poi Pai. So from our study, we already published that. From that two systems that we designed, we may spend around $3.6 million for that project, for the investment. But in return, this time we estimate a little bit longer. We do 30 years, okay, because we spend a lot of money. So in return, over the period of 30 years, is $28 million in return. So when you do the...
Coming from what? From avoiding the flood?
Avoiding the flood. Avoiding the flood that damage the city and disturb the livelihood of the people of Poi Pai, and reduce the temperature, that we reduce the health cost that they go to the hospital, and we also can calculate from the carbon storage that time, because each tree they absorb the carbon, so we also calculate the economic value from that role as well. So we bring those economic value, not only just the physical financial, but we also use the ecological indicator, put everything into calculation, and then the benefit cost ratio is 7.9. That's very big investment. You invest $1, you return almost $8. So that is something that very impressive investment. So this is the real economic empirical evidence that we can show to the public that NBS, even it takes longer time, but in terms of the longer benefit, it provides us the benefits for all.
Economically speaking,
yes,
that's because
money talk.
Yeah, money talk.
Easy to communicate.
Yeah.
So this is something. If we just say NBS is good like this, good like that, we just use a descriptive, rational. Yeah, sometimes the people, they said, it's important, but not necessary.
Yes.
That's why we bring now. We would like to bring more economics evidence it's not only important, but it's also necessary to invest.
It makes sense.
Yes, that's from my view. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for sharing all these examples. I think we've seen a lot already.
Yep.
And working on this, what's your dream for the city? From what crazy dream do you have about this? Maybe in 20, 30 years, how do you see
no, we can start.
cities?
We can start step by step. So my dream, I think, is I dream my city, Phnom Penh, and all city in Cambodia, and all city in our South ASEAN have the spot for community that we upgrade our well-being, and we are the human can interact with the nature and biodiversity. So this is something that we find a place that we can refuge, we can escape from the stressful life, and then we can relax, we can communicate with each other. We feel cheerful and refreshing and relaxing in the location that nearby our home, not far away. So this is, do you think it's a long-term or impossible dream? But I think if we have this dream together, I think this dream will be happen. And my second dream, to make this dream happen, we need to include nature-based solution into the official policy framework or standard operation procedure for all construction, for all the city design, must integrate NBS into those design, and then we can make the dream come true.
Kind of code that is mandatory to integrate what, 5-10% of NBS components in any design, or at least in the bigger infrastructure?
Based on the infrastructure. But at least they need to bring the concept of NBS into their design. When they have the road, it's not just only the road that come up with the single function for transportation, but the road that give us more safety and also can stay there longer term, resilient to climate. So they just come up with the idea. The road is just not only for transport, but the road that resilient to climate, the road that bring more function for us and for the neighborhood. So that is the example. You would like to build a kind of the borai. So the borai is not just only that the location that we just settle, go there, sleeping, accommodate us. No, but it's the borai that how the community interact with the nature. We go there, we feel cold, and we also can communicate with our neighbor. We feel good well-being increasing and with our residents. So based on the infrastructure, but they must have kind of the concepts of NBS into all the design. I think
so this
it will be happen.
Regulation, like energy efficiency code or regulation.
Of course. If
who can push for this concretely now? What kind of organization?
I think there are two main organizations. I talk particularly in Cambodia. Ministry of Land Management, Ministry of Environment, they are one of the main factors, the main institutions, that can really make this regulation happen. I think they start from something. They also appreciate, they also encourage this kind of the nature-based design in all the landscape already. They mention, they encourage it, but we would like to see in a very clear instruction in the SOP or in the form of the regulation. You would like to build this kind of condominium, you need to come up with what kind of nature-based solution, what is the choice that you can pick up to integrate in your building. You would like to invest in the resorts, how many open space that you should reserve for the green space. You would like to enhance the city, another 100,000 square meter. What is the master plan and how many proportion of the green space? So we would like to see those kind clear instruction guideline into these two ministries, and then the development partner, the investor, the constructor, easy to take it for their construction or for their investment.
Okay.
Yeah. So
good,
I hope
direction for your dream. But
I feel positive as well. Yeah.
Practical aspect to put
exactly.
in action with the government and development partners you're working with.
Yes.
Thanks so much, Phanith.
Thank you very much for having me again.
Sharing all your learning and about nature-based solution.
Thank you.
What for you are the 3 key takeaways from our discussion today?
Okay.
If we have to summarize that.
Yeah. So my key takeaway today for you and for our friend to remember, NBS is so important and also necessary. That is one message for all the construction and urban design. And the second message, nature-based solution can be done, start from small to the bigger scale of the city. If we would like to start with the new city, we can put immediately master plan for the nature-based solution, don't wait it. But for the old city like Phnom Penh, we can start from the small, from the single building. We influence to our neighborhoods, the neighborhood expanding into a kind of the community, and the community can expanding into the bigger scale. So we can start from our home, our single building, and then we can have a beautiful city together. So this is my 2 main takeaway of the today's discussion, and hopefully our dream can come true, that we can live along with the nature, interact with the biodiversity, not in the forest but inside the city. Yeah.
Thank you, Phanith.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
I hope you make it come true.
Sure.
In the 20, 30 coming years, it will be green in our city.
That's what I'm expecting. Yeah. Thank you very much.